Most people believe if you want big visual effects in your movies, you need a team, a studio, and a mountain of cash. But I made a VFX-heavy monster hunter show with cinematic creatures, glowing voids, and a floating Lovecraftian head in just 2 days by myself. No studio, no team, just a camera and a new kind of workflow. The trick? I stopped thinking of AI as a shortcut or a replacement tool, and I started using it like a VFX department I could direct. I used a hybrid workflow where I let the AI build the impossible. Then I shot live action around it to make it real. If you're trying to make something way bigger than your budget would ever allow, this is how you do it.
Okay, so I figured if we're going to be using these AI tools, we should talk about AI in general for a second. I know a lot of people are really concerned about what AI means to the creative fields, and a big concern is that these image and video generation models were trained on copyrighted materials and stolen artwork. But there are a number of companies already that have created image and video generation models that were trained completely on materials that they own the copyright to. So that argument is going to be harder and harder to use in the future. And I think we as artists really need to learn these tools so we know what we're up against and see if these things are something that we can use in our current workflow and see if it can help us create bigger and better artwork, bigger and better things to help us promote our art so that we can compete with these $1 million studios that really don't want us to be creating the same types of things that they're able to create. So let's get into this tutorial.
All right, so to unlock this hybrid workflow, we're first going to use ChatGPT to help create a prompt that I can use to help create the image I want. I try and give ChatGPT as much information as I can so that it gives me a solid prompt. So I wrote, help me come up with a prompt to create a mind-blowing and highly engaging image of our character, Dusker, standing in front of many different monster types, all looking angry and scary. Our character is standing holding a sword that glows green from green fire. Now, I've already given it images of our character Dusker, so that's why I'm referencing Dusker here. You would have to either give it images, or you would have to tell it what the character looks like. Now we wait for ChatGPT to give us a prompt that we can then use with Sora's image generator. Great. I can just copy this prompt for our image. So now I've hopped over to Sora. First, I paste in the prompt from ChatGPT. I cleaned it up, and this is what it looks like now. I then upload a couple photos of me in costume as Dusker. Okay, so now that we have our prompt and our reference photos of our character, you can generate 1 or 2 image variations, and you can pick your aspect ratio, widescreen, square, or vertical essentially. Then click Remix. And now I wait for the image to be generated. All right, pretty cool. Looks kind of like me. If you don't love what you get back, you can just click on the original prompt, and then we can make any changes or just click Remix. Once I have an image that I'm happy with, I click Create Video. Now I can write a prompt for the image to video, or you can just leave it blank, which I'm going to do. We can change the aspect ratio, tons of options here, change the resolution, the length of the video clip, and how many variations of the video. And then click Create Video. And then once the video generates, we play them back. So sick. Now let's look at the actual video clip I used for the Dusker video. I could click Remix for a new version, or if I like some of the video generated, I can use the Recut tool to keep a part of the video while generating new frames to fill in the space. we can write a prompt to fill in the space with what we want. So once I type out the prompt, I click create. Honestly, I think these actually turned out better than the versions I ended up using, but you should watch the Dusker video with the pool slug and let me know. This technique would be the anchor for getting the AI shots I'd need to replace the traditional VFX workflow for all of Dusker.
The void rippled again. Shall I log it or pretend I didn't see?
I first made the head for Dr. Vellum using Runway's text-to-image, which is a similar process to the text-to-image process I showcased with Sora. So I enter the prompt for the image, then we can set the number of variations of the images generated and the resolution, then click generate. So here's the final image of Dr. Vellum. Really cool, very Lovecraftian. For Dr. Vellum's voice, I used Artlist IO's AI voice generator. Just picked a tone, typed in his lines of dialogue, and within minutes, I had a spectral sounding butler ready to narrate. And he kind of sounds like the guy from the old movie trailers.
Master Dusker, the void rippled again. Shall I log it or pretend I didn't see?
And this is the long list of variations I generated of the dialogue for Dr. Vellum. I animated Dr. Vellum using Runway's lip sync tool. So now with the lip sync tool, I first upload the photo of Dr. Vellum. Normally you'd click here, but I've already uploaded the image, so I'll just click the image. You want to keep the eyes and the mouth inside the square. Then upload the dialogue we created in Artlist. Again, you'd click here to upload the audio, but I've already uploaded it, so then we generate the animation.
Master Dusker, the void rippled again. Shall I log it or pretend I didn't see?
Once you're happy with the animation, download it. Now that I have the animation, I projected it on the wall behind me. Okay, so this part 3 is object removal with Photoshop. In one shot, I had an air doctor in the background, which is this big white thing here. Select the lasso tool, then draw what you want removed or changed. I use Photoshop's generative fill to replace it with a gargoyle statue. So after I close the loop, I select generative fill, and then I enter in the prompt for what I want changed. I wrote a black stone gargoyle statue. And then I click generate. So each time it generates, it gives 3 variations. The first 2 here are a bit weird. This third one though is pretty cool. If I don't like any of the 3 images generated, I can change the prompt or just generate 3 new variations. Okay, so this is the one I used in the Dusker video. Now just save it. And then I bring the image into my Adobe Premiere timeline. Select the mask tool, then mask it into the moving footage for a seamless final shot. Also, feather the mask to blend. So there it is. A full prop swap in seconds without reshoots or time-consuming VFX shots. I built the monster moments using the same process as earlier, but this time I was using photos to train the model on costume consistency and lighting and the location. So I upload a picture of the location that we actually were filming in. And then in this case, I was trying to create a monster. So I entered a prompt. The character looks into the pool and a giant blue slug emerges from the water and lunges at the character. So that's the prompt. Now we wait for Sora to spit out our image. And here we go. We got 2 images of me as a monster hunter here fighting a slug. Okay, so this is the actual image that I settled on. I really liked how it looked. I like this monster, so now we can turn it into a video. And this is the long list of things I had to go through to get the images that I liked. So it's really cool what it can do, but it doesn't just spit out perfect videos. It takes a lot of taste making and using an editor's eye to find the gold in the videos that it generates. Filming the first episode of Dusker, the Pale Agent, and Dusker is about to fight the slug monster. He's showing up at the pool where that all happens. That's what this looks like. All right, here's some BTS of me actually filming. Live action versus the AI shot, so you get an idea. And me fighting the invisible monster by myself.
I used the AI shot first, then reverse engineered my live action footage to match it.
That's why it feels like the AI moments are real, because I built the live action world around them. It's a new way to previs your movie with the VFX shots first. This was all done in 2 days. No studio, just me and a process that turns vision into reality. AI didn't replace the magic. It gave me the power to control it. Now the world-building possibilities are only limited to our imaginations. So what are you going to make with this process? Want more? Subscribe. And let's get weird.